Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a squat day. So a quick reminder for those of you who like these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So I was surprised that there were actual negative comments in the little preview. I mean, I banned those people, but it's stuff like, oh, you lost a bunch of weight on your squat. Like, well, a little bit, but this isn't a max. I don't know why you think that this is my all-out max or what I'm going to do in competition. This is a 5-3-1 training max. Now, it's the first time I've put 500 plus on a straight bar for a back squat in quite some time, right? It is, but this is me just building back up off training maxes, guys. I'm just going to PR this, a little bit, small little PRs every 3 weeks. Up until I'm at a world record squat. So I don't know. I don't know where people don't get that. And there were some people who didn't like form or whatever, and it's like, guys, come on. Or the fake weight stuff. You can't pull the fake weight stuff. You guys have seen me pull 625, and I'm using the same plates that I used to train and hit those high 500 and low 600 deadlifts and stuff. So it's nonsense, guys. Come on. Calibrated rope plates, Texas squat bar. So 505, I was happy with it. Feel like I hit depth. Yeah, some people noted I threw the added powers back on. Well, since I'm Olympic squatting, I figure I might as well. They help me get depth a little easier sometimes. Oh, some of the rep work, though, some of these are a little higher than I'd like. Mainly because I just don't really like my rep work. I hate rep work on squats. I'm not going to lie. I hate rep work on squats. But I do it. Because I need to do it. But today I only went with 3x5 for the back off work after the heavy single, after the training max, because again, I don't want to just destroy myself. I feel like I would rather use, if I'm going to do the bigger barbell movements, I want to make sure I have recovery for deadlifts. Right now, deadlifts are more important to me. I'm not going to lie. I feel like my squatting is in the bag. I'm going to have my squat way up relatively quickly. I'm not overly worried about it. I'm going to keep training it and keep training the accessories. But as far as hitting a big total, I feel like I have more growth room on the deadlift to get a total up, because I've got to make up for my crappy bench. I've got to get my bench up too, which we know that we're working on. But while I've been cutting, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard without at least maintenance calories or a tiny surplus or anything on the bench, but it'll come up. And my bench is better than people realize after yesterday's. Again, that was a one-off situation with the grip change. Hopefully people understand that. I can bench more than that. So, yeah, but it was a good training max. But again, I don't want to just destroy myself on squatting. I would rather deadlift for any extra sets I'm going to do. So 3x5 was good today. Then I'm doing shrugs. Now, some people are going to be like, why are you doing shrugs with this bar? And because I'm using a smoother bar, this is grip training. And here's the thing. These sets of 10 were extremely hard on my grip. My grip was slipping on these, and that was the idea. I picked a weight that I knew I would struggle with, not using a deadlift bar. And I don't know what in the hell is up with the lights. I couldn't see any of that happening while I was filming. I'm not sure. Something messes up with that switch on my wall for only that room's lights, not the other ones in the next part that are part of the lighting. I don't know. No idea. But the shrugs, I'm like, look, I could use the extra trap work, but I want to get some extra grip training on my lower days. And so if you look at it, yeah, my whole back is getting a ton of work, because I'm doing 10 sets of rows and then 5 sets of shrugs on these days. So it's going to be 20 sets of rows. And if I do the shrugs every workout, every lower body, it's going to give me 10 sets of shrugs. Yes, that is a ton of middle and upper back work. It's a ton of it, but it's also grip work. I feel like for me, grip is my limiting factor on the deadlift, but I could stand to build bigger traps and a bigger upper back. So using my grip work to do shrugs is fine. I got a good pump in my traps. Grip was slightly more limited on those 5 sets than the weight on the bar. Okay. Had I strapped up, I could probably have done a couple more reps on every set easily. But again, I'm just getting a little bit of extra trap work, help my upper back grow while getting grip training. I could just do barbell holds or whatever, double overhand barbell holds. But again, I like to multitask, right? I like to multitask. I'm not losing any grip training by doing the shrugs. It's just as hard on the grip. So I thought, let's just do some shrugs. Let's go ahead and blow the upper back up, right? Get extra work in there. So that's why I'm doing it. I could just as easily throw just some grip training in that slot. But again, notice it's not power shrugs. So like some people have said that when I bring up shrugs, like what about the stimulus to fatigue? I'm not strapping up and doing power shrugs. And I'm not doing power shrugs with 405 and straps. So it really isn't. And again, it's extra trap volume. And shrugs are fine. You get people who say silly stuff. Well, shrugs aren't. Shrugs are amazing for traps. What are you talking about? Quit following all this trendy, silly nonsense that people come up with to where basic proven exercises are suddenly bad. Squats are terrible. Shrugs are terrible. Right? Oh, the bench press doesn't build pecs or whatever. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys. These are all proven basic exercises. They work. Just because a new trend or an article or a YouTuber says they don't doesn't mean they don't. Yes, shrugs will build traps better than above the knee rack pulls. Says me. So after that, we did belt squats. Well, I guess we missed the extensions. I did 5 sets of 12 on the 45 degree hyperextension. Again, low back and hamstring work. I need to make sure I get plenty of it. So we did 5 sets of that and then 5 sets of reverse hypers for it. So again, we got plenty of erector work in. Plenty of hamstring. Now, some people will say, why didn't you do the glute ham raise today? Well, why? Because it makes me cramp up. And if I'm going to do it, I think maybe just doing it on deadlift days. Because my deadlift rep work gives me some extra low back work. And so maybe a little more hamstring focus is warranted. But my hamstrings cramp. I've got reasons why I don't want my hamstrings cramping tonight or tomorrow. And if I'm going to deal with hamstring cramping, I'd rather only deal with it one day. Right? I'd rather only deal with it one day a week. And that doesn't mean next week I might not come in and do them on Tuesday also. But as far as that goes, yeah, glute ham raises just, they make me cramp up really bad in my hamstrings after. And my hamstrings are big and strong. I don't think I need to put up with that twice a week most of the time. It's not necessary for me to reach my goals. The hyperextension works hamstrings, builds hamstrings just fine. It gives me some extra low back work. So again, it's just balancing the total work sets with what I want with certain types of fatigue. And I might work good mornings back in now that I'm doing some higher rep work, now that I'm adjusting diet a little bit to allow for it. I might work some good mornings back in these same slots. I like them. Just got to be aware of the overall fatigue. Good morning is going to create a little more fatigue than that 45 degree hyper, but it's arguably better overall exercise. Builds a little more muscle. So, again, I could work it in next week. Maybe I'll think about it. Do some 5x10s with it. But as far as the belt squats go, that was a PR. I've never used that weight for 10s before, and I got 5x10. And it was challenging towards the end, but I had at least a rep in reserve on the last set, which means I've got room to grow. We definitely have room to grow on it. And again, I feel like that's going to have a lot of carryover to my squatting. I feel like that's helping my squat come back up, especially now that I'm doing more of Olympic style squatting, where the lower body, the adductors and quads do become a little more important. I feel like it's going to have great carryover. And again, people need to remember, when I cut those out, the ones I was doing, that probably affected my squat. That exercise helped my squat quite a bit when I was hitting those big weights with the cambered bar. But I didn't have the machine, and it started getting dangerous doing it with just free weight. It got to where I felt like it was an injury risk. And it legitimately was. I needed the machine. I'm strong enough that I've got to have the machine. I can't just do it with weights. It's too dangerous climbing up and down. I'm going to get hurt badly. And it's not worth it. But the strength is coming up on the belt squat machine, and that's going to rebuild any muscle loss there. All right, it's going to rebuild it back up, get that strength back up, and get that squat real high again. But again, I don't think people realize my squat doesn't need to be as high as they think it does for me to break records. It really doesn't. Masters 2 records are not as hard as you would think, and it's because everyone's beat up. Like, nobody's strong anymore at 45 plus. And I turned 45 here in just a few weeks, right? I'm about to be 45. So we did our reverse hypers, and then I finished up with my 3 sets of neck extensions. And again, just continuing to show these because, again, I do them. A lot of people seem to be unaware of it. They didn't know that I've been doing these a couple years. And I've got a video coming out later in a breakfast chat explaining the details of my stance. Hasn't really changed significantly on neck training even from years ago. It really hasn't so much. I only do one type of neck training. I don't train all the angles. I don't train it excessively. And like I said, I've been doing it at least 2 years. So I just did 3 sets of 10 with a 55-pound plate. And I do this basically twice a week. So I'm showing it on camera now since people say I wasn't showing it. But I'm really happy with today's workout. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.